Hello, extraordinary people. I'm Leslie Dickey, your host, and welcome to the Everyday People podcast, where we celebrate extraordinary stories of ordinary people like you and me. On this episode, we're excited to have Marlo Grandberry as our guest. Marlo is a local entrepreneur, and we will talk about her journey, including her challenges, triumphs, and moments of resilience. Marlo, thank you for being here and sharing your incredible story with us. Let's begin by you just telling us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Leslie. My name is Marlo Grandberry, and I have been in the Hampton Roads area for 30 plus years.
Okay.
Came down here by way of the Navy. Go Navy.
Like 98% of the people in the area? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I am a retired veteran, 21 years of service, and I have two sons, two grandchildren, and I've been an entrepreneur for quite some time.
Okay. So tell us what your first job, what your first entrepreneurial exploit was. Like, how did you start?
Started with Avon.
Okay.
Back at Michigan State University.
All right.
I didn't want to work while attending classes, and I looked at entrepreneurship as a way of having flexibility with my schedule,
Right.
and also meeting a need.
Okay. All right. So then from Avon to where you are now. So tell us a little bit about what your business is now and maybe walk us through how you went from humble beginnings of Avon, not Mary Kay though, Avon, and how you got to where you are now as an experienced and established
A lot of trial and error.
entrepreneur. Okay.
It took a minute to find something that really resonated with me
Mm-hmm.
as far as compatible with my personality,
Right.
as far as the vision and the integrity of the company.
Right.
There are a lot of home-based businesses,
There are.
and I've tried several,
Okay.
many,
All right.
before I ultimately resonated with working in the wellness and
Okay.
health industry.
So health and wellness is very important. We all need a little bit of that in our lives.
We need a lot of that.
We do need a lot of that, but I'm not going to worry about what I'm needing right now. We're just going to talk about you. And so we know that all entrepreneurs face challenges, right? And so what are some of the hurdles that you encountered and how did you overcome those hurdles?
I would say one of the hurdles was understanding business in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I took business classes
Right.
and I studied accounting in school, when you're actually your own boss,
Right.
you don't get to point the finger at anybody.
No, you do not.
The buck stops with you.
All the time.
So whatever's lacking in your business,
Okay.
it's up to you to fix it.
Okay.
And so that was probably one of the biggest challenges, because a lot of things I didn't know how to fix.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's fair. A lot of people don't know how to fix things. And so you learned your way through that, sometimes stumbling, sometimes fumbling. And so right now you said you do health and wellness. What does that look like in practical terms? Like, can we find you in a shop somewhere? Are you doing personal coaching? What kind of things are we? Am I throwing you off with my questions?
No.
Okay.
I was just like, well, I don't have a shop.
Okay.
I primarily work online. I enjoy doing the Facebook groups.
Okay.
And even that was a challenge. I did try coaching at one time.
Okay.
However, I think I like coaching the group setting because you can feed the energy
Right.
off of one another. And
Right.
it's not as much pressure on one person.
Okay.
Now, I'm an avid learner, so I love studying, I
Okay.
love doing the research, and I love helping people.
All right.
And I just feel like health and wellness is one of those things that I know for me,
Right.
I didn't grow up with that mindset.
Right.
And so that was one of the things that really attracted me to health and wellness, because there are a lot of things plaguing our community that we don't have to suffer with.
I agree. And a lot of us didn't grow up with that mentality. I know I didn't. And sometimes it was just by virtue of where you were born, what space, time, and place in history, or even where you live, right? Everybody doesn't always have access to fresh fruits, vegetables, doesn't have access to good medical care and things like that. And so it is important to start educating people, I think. And it's important to have that education come from people who look like you.
Yes.
Right? Like that is really impactful to sit and look at someone and see yourself in that person and how they're moving through the world in a different way, right?
Exactly.
So that's kind of you then.
Yeah.
Okay. Trailblazers.
Yes, and even with coaching,
Right.
I'm not a traditional wellness coach.
Okay.
I'm not going to bash you because I'm on the wellness journey myself.
Right.
So we're going together.
Okay.
So it's not like somebody who has already arrived, have the perfect figure.
Okay. Right.
I'm on the same journey.
Right.
I understand the struggle.
It is a struggle.
The disciplines.
So
we are doing it together.
Okay.
Help your family members because when you learn more information, you share.
Okay. I think it's important that we share it instead of like hoarding information. So many people gatekeep, right? And so there are some things that perhaps maybe should be kept, but these aren't those kinds of things. And so, so tell me about one of your proudest moments during this journey. What was your best triumph that you can remember?
That I can remember.
Sing it, girl. Don't make me sing. It's not good.
Oh, okay. I want to say when I was working in the financial industry and having my sons be committed enough to get their life insurance license.
Okay.
One of my passions, or I should say one of my goals, is to have generational wealth.
Yes.
Well, you have to educate the next generation if you want the wealth to stay in the family.
That's true.
And so I was really, really pleased that both of my children at one time did get their license.
Okay.
Now they've let it lapse since then, but it was just the fact that they got the information and the knowledge.
And they took action.
And so I feel like, okay, the seed has been planted.
Okay, and it does. Everybody kind of gets their own way, right?
Yes.
I like the idea of generational wealth, and I think that being in the financial industry, life insurance, but even health and wellness is a form of generational wealth, right?
Yes.
Because you start changing the way you interact with food and exercise and those kinds of things, and then your children see it, and then you start increasing the wellness in your family kind of as a whole by extension, right? Because so it's more than just money, and I think people always think money when we talk about wealth, but wealth is so many more things than that.
It is.
Oh my gosh, I'm very excited.
Thank you.
Okay, so proudest moment was your sons.
Yes.
And so I know that you also have a regular 9-to-5 job. We're not going to get into that.
No.
But I would be interested to know, how do you balance working a 9-to-5 and being an entrepreneur? Because that is a heavy lift, or at least I imagine it is.
Well, normally I work outside of my work hours.
Right.
So the weekends are usually pretty filled with me wearing the hat.
Okay.
And that's one of the benefits of being an entrepreneur. You always have a boss. The perks of being your own boss, so it's like, okay, we need to do some things, blah, blah, blah. And I think the hardest part is managing the stress level.
Okay.
Because that's pretty much the greatest demand.
Okay.
The business is flexible. You can work around.
Right.
If you don't feel like working, you can make your own schedule.
Okay.
So it's not as rigid as a 9-to-5.
Right.
But the stress is always present.
So how do you manage the stress in your own life?
Oh, we have fun. Oh. If the business is fun,
okay,
it makes it easier.
Okay.
That's where it goes back into having people.
So talk to me
and
about
the energy
this fun.
about the people.
I need to know more about the fun. Especially with health and wellness, because I have sweet potato bread waiting for me at home. Ooh. And I need fun to help.
Look. Well, part of the fun is moving.
Okay.
I always encourage people to have an accountability buddy.
Right.
It's good to have somebody that you can go do things with.
Right.
Because sometimes we'll cancel on ourselves.
Yes.
Oh, this raining. Oh.
Right.
Oh, I had a rough day.
I want to sweat out my breath.
Right.
Right.
But if you have an accountability partner,
right,
it's fun.
Okay.
Then it becomes more social.
Right.
And do things that you enjoy doing. It could be walking. It doesn't always have to be the gym.
Right.
Walking with a great scenery. Like when the weather is nice, walking outside is just therapeutic.
It is, and I think it can't be beat. It would be nice if they would stop if we weren't baking in Virginia.
Oh yeah,
this past summer's been difficult to be outside.
Very challenging.
I'm hoping that the weather's starting to kind of turn for us, because I know that there are a lot of people, my own mother included, who prefer to actually be outside in nature and kind of grounded in that way. And so it can be okay. So you walk, yes?
Yes.
How many miles? What's your longest walk?
It was probably when I was in Hawaii.
Okay.
I think we hit like 20,000 steps in one day.
Oh.
Yeah. My girlfriend, she's a runner. So she was just, that was a challenge. So that was one of those things that, oh my goodness, I was very tired.
Yeah,
Like,
well, yes.
and the weather was lovely, but I was still very tired.
Of course, because walking is still, I think mine was back when, I don't know if you remember, they used to open up the Chesapeake Bay Bridge one day, like one day a year, and you could walk to the first little island on the bridge.
Oh, wow.
And I think that walk in total is like, it was like 8 miles or something like that. My mom
Okay.
talked me into doing it. And I had a lot of fun. And my feet hurt for many, many days after.
Oh.
So that's probably my longest walk. And I don't think I hit 20,000 steps though. So
Yeah, I don't even know how many miles it was. It was a lot.
a lot. And that's all that matters, right? Okay.
It was a lot.
Yeah. So you're resilient, right? Because you're an entrepreneur.
Well, you have to.
And so it's key, right? How do you stay motivated during challenging times?
Stay focused on your why.
Okay.
Every entrepreneur has a reason why they started, whether it was to be a benefit to other people, whether it was to enhance the lives of their own children or themselves, early retirement. And that's what keeps me focused.
Okay.
Focus on my mom. I need to make sure that once I retire from the 9 to 5, that I'm able to visit mom as much as I want, stay as long as I want, and that I don't have to get another 9 to 5. Because a lot of people end up retiring and they must work another job for somebody else, and I don't want that.
Right, and I don't want that either, so I may have to come have a conversation with you because I'll be honest, I'd retire right now if I could.
Finances.
I would, but I still got one that has to get through college.
Yeah.
And she's expensive. She
college
likes fine things. So yes, okay, so you're focusing on your why, your family, the things that are important to you. And so if you had any advice for someone, I know you kind of gave us a little bit of that, but if someone was considering starting their own business, particularly within our community, what advice would you give that person that they could kind of keep in their back pocket?
Ooh. Yeah. First, I would recommend attending networking events. Do your homework, explore, attend some business opportunities. My experience is with home-based businesses. Most traditional businesses require a lot of overhead. So if you have the overhead to invest in a traditional business, go for it. If not, home-based businesses are the way to go. But there's so many to choose from. So do your research. Make sure the company has integrity. Make sure you like what the company offers, and try it. That's the thing about it. If you don't like it, you can quit. You're the boss.
So try it. If you don't like it, you can quit.
And try something else. Let me be more positive.
Okay, all right.
But it's an experience.
Okay.
Entrepreneurship is a growing opportunity. Because I think the greatest benefit is that I grew as a person.
Okay. So in what ways did you grow? Because that's interesting to hear that. You always hear about hustle culture and grinding and all of that, but I don't think people necessarily share as much how it impacted them personally in their personal walk and growth.
Oh, well, number one, you wouldn't believe that I'm very introverted.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And shy.
Yes.
But that was one of the things that if you're going to be in business, you have to open your mouth.
Right.
You can't be secretive and be in business. Right. That just doesn't work. You don't get customers like that.
Closed mouths don't get fed.
Exactly. And the other thing is just a matter of learning about taxes and the tax advantages. Yes. And so there are a lot of things involved. I haven't quite mastered the sales. Okay. I share more than I sell. Okay. So that's one of those areas I still need to grow as far as closing.
Right. Okay. And sales can be challenging.
It can be.
Right. It can be, some people are just born with it. Mm-hmm. They can sell ice water to an Eskimo or whatever the saying is, right? And so that's just not who you are.
No.
So it's an area of continued growth, right?
Continue.
Another way you can be more Marlo.
And you have to be authentic.
Right.
And that's the best way, because you try to be like somebody else, that doesn't work. Okay. And people feel that energy.
I agree. It's okay. I think it is important to be authentic, and it can be difficult, when you want to, what's the word, like convey a certain energy.
Yeah. And
you want to convey, an image that people can trust.
Yes.
Right. but there's something to be said for being authentic and vulnerable and saying, hey, I'm shy. So I'm working really hard here to kind of get into this space. Okay. And so what else do you do like within your community? Do you volunteer? Do you give in other ways? Do you give back? Because I know you said you share a lot. So
Well, I do wellness events
okay.
that are free. Like I said, I like sharing the information.
Right.
What you do with the information is up to you. But I give you the resources and the information.
Okay.
And also, I have began hosting networking, community networking brunches.
Okay.
I like to bring in business owners, nonprofit organizations,
Okay.
ministries, and just people in the community,
Okay.
just to get to know each other and
So how
connect.
often do you have those?
I just restarted it because COVID shut everything down,
It
but
did.
I had one, I think it was in July, and we're going to do another one in October.
Okay, so tell us, like, where is it going to be held? How do we find out information if we would like to be invited to said event?
It's going to be October 14th.
Okay.
There is an event on Facebook,
Okay.
and we're meeting at Topgolf. So it's going to be fun, relaxing, and it's just getting to know each other.
Okay.
And sharing, we pass around the business cards. Everybody has a chance to share what they do.
Okay.
But it's just about connecting and bringing the community together as a whole, because all of them make a successful community.
I agree. We're not islands unto ourselves. No. Okay, so I know you mentioned Facebook a couple of times. You said you have several groups. Tell us a little bit about that. And I will say that in my former 9-to-5 life, I manage social media accounts.
Oh.
Yes. And,
see,
but
we're
it can
connecting.
We got some things.
Yes.
And so it can be a challenge with the social media. How do you make that work? Like, especially if you have more than one group, how frequently do you feel like you should engage? Because that's important for entrepreneurs too, right? Because the social media piece is kind of how people are marketing.
Yes.
That's how they're getting their name out. They're doing all this. We're live streaming. So how do you make that work along with all the other pieces to the puzzle? And then tell us the name of those groups so that we can go and join.
Well, I usually schedule my posts.
Okay.
So when I have downtime on the weekend, I try to go ahead and schedule my posts.
Okay.
But it helps with that time management piece. And then if I see something that I think applies to a certain group, then I'll just share it. Okay. And it also helps to have other people that are engaging, because other people make the group more fun. They don't just want to hear from me.
Well, I do. Okay. I do. So what are the names of your groups? Like I said, so people can like and subscribe and follow and support good sis in her endeavors.
Well, my recent group is called Eating Well Without the Swell.
Oh, what's that about though? I need a little bit of a breakdown.
Okay. Well, I've partnered with a company that offers low sodium meal options. Also, they have seasonings and other ingredients that are just better for us. Okay. Gluten-free, vegan-free, peanut-free, so people with a lot of allergies. And I thought it was a good partnership with my wellness coaching. Yes. Because eating is the foundation of our health. Right. And so if we can eat better quality food and not buy,
other stuff. Sweet potato bread.
Yeah, well, and that's one of the things. They have gluten-free breads. Okay. And I've tried it.
Is it actually good?
It is. And that's the thing. And that's why we have to get back in person. Because even though we're going to share about the seasoning and salad dressings, where you can make your own salad dressing, and so they take away all the ingredients that your body doesn't need. Okay. And so it's full of flavor. But I had the brownies. Okay. I'm a chocolate lover. Okay. And so I was like, oh, brownies don't taste half bad.
Did they have sugar?
They did have sugar, but not as much.
I can get with that, though.
They had just enough to satisfy the chocolate craving. Okay. So I was like, oh, that was good. All right.
So that's Eating Well Without the Swell. What are your other group names? Let's hear those too.
Healthy, Happy, and Wise. Okay. I think I've had that group the longest. All right. This friends, family, friends of friends. And Wellness for Life is the newest one. Okay. Second newest anyway. But I introduced the Wellness for Life because that's where, for people who are really focused on weight management. Right. So I have the wellness for life is weight management.
Okay.
The eating well without the swell is just people that don't want to eat healthier.
Right.
And that's what I said. I'm trying to gear it towards what are your interests?
Okay.
Because everybody doesn't need to lose weight.
Well, no, not everybody. But yeah, some of us could, eat well without the swell a little bit more. I think, I'm speaking about myself.
But it's good for the whole family. That's the good thing about eating well without the swell.
Okay.
So they have 30-minute meals. Okay. So it's for busy people.
Yes.
And you can feed the whole family.
Okay, so really, so I go to these sites, right, and they say 30-minute meals, make them on a weeknight, no problem, working moms, you got this, right? And then you open up the recipe, right? And it's 15,000 ingredients that they assume you have in your pantry. And if you didn't read the recipe in advance, like I normally do not, didn't realize that you had to put it in the crock pot that morning for it to be the 30-minute meal. So are these like, are they really 30-minute meals where like someone like me could get off work, come home, get the meal going, get it cooked, get it from start to finish to the table? For moms, I used to have a son who played sports, and so, that eats up a considerable amount of time after hours. Are they really 30 minutes? That's my question.
I say yes. Okay. Now, we do have some crock pot meals. Right now, my pulled chicken was going to be delicious when I get home.
Oh, well, why you ain't bringing any?
Because it's not done yet.
Oh,
it's in a crock pot.
My bad.
But the ingredients are simple. You do have to go grocery shopping, so you do have to look at.
You have to prep.
Right. You have to do the meal prep. You have to know what you need. You
can't be a last-minute person like me sometimes.
Right.
Okay.
Unless you have it. I mean, it had the seasoning pack. It asked for brown sugar, vinegar, and ketchup. Okay. And then I put the seasoning in it, put the chicken in there.
And just left it.
Yes.
Set it and forget it.
Yep.
Okay.
And so I'm looking forward to enjoying it.
All right.
And like I said, the key is this low sodium.
Okay.
Because a lot of the things, like, I don't know if I say, but Hamburger Helper was my friend when I was growing up.
It's a lot of our friends.
Exactly. Because my mom was a working mom.
Right.
And when you look at the sodium content, that's what goes into that education.
Right.
Because I followed that pattern. When my children were younger, that was my go-to meal.
It can still be mine occasionally.
But it has a lot of sodium. So if you have an alternative with less sodium, then that's how we can break a lot of those generational things of illness. Okay. Like high blood pressure and diabetes and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Because it comes in our diet.
It does. So here's my question about that.
Uh-oh.
I know, right? Because see, Hamburger Helper, 99 cents a box on sale, right? So we know that it's easy and quick, but it's also cheap, right? It's affordable. It's you got to stretch between paydays and those kinds of things. Eating well has often, we all know, those of us who attempt to, it can be pricey.
It can be.
It can be very expensive, and it's not necessarily accessible for everybody. And so what would you say for people who maybe don't have as much, money in that respect? And so how can they incorporate some wellness into their diets? Because it's important for all of us until we can get to better places and move in different spaces.
Okay. Well, like I said, that's one of the reasons I partnered with Epicure, because they are reasonable.
Okay.
They usually have 3 packs for normally about $12.
Okay.
That's about $4.
About $4. Okay.
But like I said, you do have to invest in your own wellness. Right. And I think that this is an option that's easy on the budget and also beneficial for the whole family. Okay. So you don't have to eat organic. You do have to provide your own protein. Right. But you have a choice as far as what type of protein you're going to put in there. Okay. Whether it's going to be hamburger meat, turkey meat, ground chicken, tofu. A lot of the I'm tofu is growing on me. Actually, it's growing on me.
Well, it would have to, because it is not the best. But yes. Okay. So I
haven't cooked with it, but
you haven't.
No,
but you've eaten it.
I've eaten it,
and it's growing on you.
Yes.
Okay. Let me know. I'm gonna check in with you and see how much growing it has done, because I can't get with it. I can eat most things, but tofu has always been a little bit of a challenge for me.
I started with the Chinese food. And if you put the tofu in with all the seasonings,
if you fry it crispy enough, you don't even know it's tofu.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, gardening. I know this is a little bit of an aside, but I think it's important when we talk about health and wellness, particularly being able to afford
Mm-hmm.
certain, foods, fruits and vegetables are tremendously expensive. I went to a
Yes.
grocery store today that shall remain nameless looking for sweet potatoes,
Mm-hmm.
and they were covered in all kinds of ants and all kinds. Now, here's the thing. Potatoes come out the dirt.
Yes.
So ants might have come with the dirt, right? I
True.
recognize that. However,
when you put them up for sale,
right, I need somebody
wash
to
it
rinse
off.
them off. Right. So would you advocate for like having a small home garden? Because what I will say is, having learned a little bit, some of those things are really easy to grow and don't require a lot of space.
If you have a green thumb, I would say go for it.
Okay.
I'm a city girl. I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
Okay.
So I didn't grow up with a garden.
Some of my best friends are from Detroit,
Michigan. Well, wonderful. But definitely, I do know people who have their own gardeners. Have their own gardens and are master gardeners, and their fruits and vegetables are amazing.
Yeah.
And so it is a concern with all the pesticides and herbicides.
Right.
And so definitely, if you can grow your own, it's better for you.
Okay.
Because it's really kind of scary. We don't really know what they're putting in our food at the grocery stores.
And that is true. And I will also add that you don't have to grow everything. You can grow green peppers, and your neighbor can grow tomatoes, and then y'all can swap.
There you go. Back in the day.
So nobody has to be like a master gardener. Because let me tell you, I am not.
Right.
I have a volunteer plant in my garden right now that is living by the grace of God, because I haven't done anything to it. I ain't fed it. I ain't watered it, because I was like, you wasn't supposed to be here. So since you showed up,
you're a surprise.
You on your own, buddy. so it's good. So it's been lovely talking to you, and you're not that introverted. You have a natural glow and effervescence about yourself.
Oh, thank you. You're so kind.
Well, no, it's important. It draws people in, and so that's a good thing, especially in your line of work. And so, parting thoughts, last words as we get ready to close out today, because you made it through.
Yes, I survived. I survived. Well, I would just say, be a good steward of your health. Stewardship is a practice that we can all do better in. Stewarding our time, stewarding our health, stewarding our relationships, and our resources. So when you improve the stewardship in those areas of your life gets better.
Okay. So we have like T-minus 2 seconds, but can you give us a breakdown, not a full breakdown, but just layman's terms, what does stewardship mean? Because see, that's kind of church speak, right?
Okay.
Because we use that word a lot in the church, but everybody's not in church and isn't familiar with the word. So when you say stewardship, what are you saying?
Be responsible. Just be responsible. Be responsible for where you invest your time. How much time you spend on social media, how much time you spend working on you, how much time you spend developing your skills. Be responsible for we all get 24 hours. Now, what we do with it?
You get 16.
No, we all get 24. Now, what we do with it is entirely up to us. Look.
That's true. But I'm going to sleep for 8 of mine.
But that's good for you.
Every time.
But that's good.
I agree. I think it's a wonderful thing. And so I have appreciated and enjoyed having you here with us today. It has been delightful.
Thank you.
Yes. And so our journey has to come to an end.
Okay.
Like all good things. However, we do want to say thank you again for being with us, Marlo, and sharing your story with us. Remember, everyone, that these stories are all around us. So keep your eyes and hearts open to the extraordinary in your everyday life. Make sure to stay up to date on our latest episodes by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Until next time, stay amazing, stay inspired, and continue celebrating the everyday people all around you. Love you guys.
Bye.